The Silver Spur saloon felt heavier than usual, the air thick with unspoken fear. Jedediah Stone nursed a lukewarm beer, the rasp in his voice amplified by the oppressive quiet. Silas Blackwood sat opposite him, gaunt and restless, constantly scanning the room. "She's orchestrating something, Jed," Silas murmured, his eyes darting towards Elara Thorne, who occupied a plush corner booth with Sheriff Harding and Walker. "It's all too staged." Jedediah nodded slowly. Old Man Hemlock's arrest had been a calculated distraction, a pathetic attempt to placate the townsfolk. He's convinced Elara was pulling the strings. Harding's under her thumb. No surprise there. "What I don't trust him either," Silas continued, his voice tight with anxiety. "He's too eager to please." Jedediah had been working on Walker, subtly probing his conscience, trying to loosen Elara's hold. Walker clearly felt trapped, torn between loyalty and a growing sense of unease. The boy possessed a flicker of decency, a spark that Jed hoped could be ignited. The rider with the wooden bird Silas trailed off, the memory clearly disturbing him. "He's been seen near Thorne's camp, always watching." "That's what the young woman at the livery stable told me," Jed said, recalling the hardened girl who had cautiously provided him with the information. "She's seen him a few times, always heading toward the mountains." A wagon pulled up outside, its wheels grinding against the dusty street. It was the delivery from New Orleans botanicals, according to the manifest. Jed's got twisted. Silas's brother had been involved in imports, mostly medicinal herbs, but the secrecy surrounding this shipment felt firm. "Something's coming, Silas," Jed said, his voice low. "Something bigger than a stolen ruby or a disgruntled ranch hand." Later that evening, Jed found Walker alone on the veranda of Thorne's camp, staring out at the distant mountains. The wind whipped around them, carrying the scent of pine and a subtle, unfamiliar fragrance. "They're watching you, Walker," Jed said, his voice gentle but firm. "Elara Thorne knows you've been talking to me." Walker jumped, his face pale. "I haven't told her anything. She doesn't need you to. She sees everything, but she also knows you's uncomfortable." And Jed paused, letting his words sink in. "You've got a chance to do the right thing, Walker. Tell the truth about what you've seen, about what you've heard." Walker hesitated, his eyes darting towards the main house. A lamp flickered in a window, casting long dancing shadows. "What will happen to me?" he whispered. "I can't promise you anything," Jed said, his voice honest, "but I can promise you this silence will cost you more than you think." The following morning, Jed led Silas to a hidden quartz vein near Thorne's camp. A barely discernible path led down into an abandoned mine shaft, concealed by overgrown brush. "My brother used to come here," Silas said, his voice hushed. "He said there was more than just quartz here." Jed peered into the darkness. The air hung heavy with the smell of damp earth and something else, a subtle, almost floral scent that was vaguely unsettling. He noticed a discarded leather glove stained with a dark, reddish-brown substance. "Someone's been here recently," Jed murmured, picking up the glove and examining it. "And they weren't prospecting for quartz." Suddenly, a voice called out from behind them. "What are you doing here, Marshal Stone?" Elara Thorne stood at the edge of the clearing, her expression unreadable. Sheriff Harding and Walker flanked her, their faces grim. "Just admiring the scenery, Miss Thorne," Jed said, his voice deceptively casual. "Thought this vein might be worth a look." "The mountains are for everyone, Marshal," Elara said, her voice laced with steel. "But trespassing on private land is a serious offense." Jed held her gaze, refusing to back down. "I was merely exercising my right to be here." He turned to Walker, who stood with his head bowed, his face etched with a mixture of fear and determination. "Well, Walker, are you going to stay silent, or are you going to tell the truth?" Walker looked from Elara to Jed, and then, taking a deep breath, he began to speak. His words tumbled out, a confession of overheard conversations, of veiled threats, and of a growing suspicion that Elara Thorne was manipulating the entire town. As Walker's testimony filled the air, a rider appeared on the ridge above Thorne's camp, silhouetted against the rising sun. He held something in his hand, a small, intricately carved wooden bird. He raised it high, as if signaling to someone, before disappearing into the mountains. Jed knew with a chilling certainty that this was only the beginning.